Well, the holidays have come and gone once again, but if you've forgotten to get that special someone in your life a gift, well, Mint Mobile is extending their holiday offer of half off unlimited wireless. So here's the idea. You get it now, you call it an early present for next year. What do you have to lose? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Limited time 50% off regular price for new customers. Upfront payment required. $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds may slow after 50 gigabytes per month when network is busy. See terms.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
It's another Q&A edition of Optimal Health Daily, and I'm Dr. Neal Malik. Hey there, happy Friday, and welcome to another Q&A edition of Optimal Health Daily, where I answer your health questions related to fitness, diet and nutrition, and lots more. You send me the questions, and I answer them for you. So why do I call myself Dr. Neal? Well, first, nobody knows how to pronounce my last name, but more importantly, I do have my doctorate degree in public health with an emphasis in chronic disease prevention and nutrition. I'm also a registered dietitian nutritionist, a certified health education specialist, and a certified exercise physiologist. I've been teaching in higher education for a long time now, and I'm currently faculty within the California State University system. I've published peer-reviewed studies, presented at national and international conferences, and I've been interviewed by over 70 different media outlets for my expertise on basically all the things I talk about on this podcast. So all of this to say that when I provide my commentary after each episode and answer the questions you send in like today, I hope you feel as though it's coming from a place of truth. My only intention is to help you feel your best. All right, and with that, let's finally hear today's question as we optimize your life.
This is Shell from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I have had this question for years: which is better, paleo or plant-based, basically, or ketogenic versus plant-based? Either way, more meat or less meat? Do we really need meat in our diet? I was raised vegetarian for my first 18 years, so I lean a little bit toward vegetarian. I don't think we really need meat because we can get other things if we're creative to replace what meat has for the most part, other than maybe B12. But I also put myself on what I considered kind of a cross between Atkins and Zone at the time, about 15 years ago. Lost 48 pounds and felt great and could go long times between meals and that kind of thing. I don't know if I was ketogenic. That was before anybody really talked about it. So I just wondered if you could put them side by side and compare scientifically with no bias from the big meat industry or whatever the plant-based side would be, and give us a basic synopsis of which way you would lean. And I know it's a matter of preference and whatever works best for your body, but I'm just looking for a little nudge in one direction or the other. Thank you.
Thank you for your question, regular listener Shell, and congratulations on your weight loss. Now, I'm going to start by answering your question very directly. The best diet to promote a healthy lifestyle is one that allows for A, food to be consumed in moderation, and B, one you are able to follow over the long term. All right, so my work is done here. That's the end of this episode. Roll credits. Okay, you twisted my arm. I will discuss this further. This is probably the question I receive most often from patients. Which diet is best? And I respond the same way. We have to find which diet is best for you. But Shell, you brought up a very interesting point. This idea that the diet advice you hear from health professionals, read about on the internet, and see celebrities touting all appear contradictory. Some swear by low carbohydrate, high protein, some high fiber, some just high protein, others high fat, low carb. Then there are the fasting diets, while others follow Mediterranean and DASH, and the list goes on and on and on. Then if you try and pull up research on your own, like diet studies conducted on real people, you'll find contradictory information there too. This is very frustrating indeed. As I always say, I want you to be able to expect accurate information from me. The best way for me to provide you with this is to base what I say off of well-designed research studies. Notice, I specifically said well-designed research studies. Not just one study and not just any study. Those that are well-designed. Too often, media headlines mention a recent study that discovered something that flies in the face of what we think we know about diet and health. But if we were to dig a little deeper, we may find that there are 100 or more other studies that show the exact opposite. Or maybe the study was only performed in mice and not in humans. Or maybe the researcher that performed the study was misquoted. I can't tell you how many times I've been misquoted by the media. Or maybe a study was sponsored by the Dairy Council or the Meat Council, which will definitely skew the results. Okay, I'm ranting a bit, I promise. I'll stop crying now. But what I'm about to tell you is based on the results of many, many well-designed studies. So when it comes to which meal plans appear to be the healthiest, 3 repeatedly push their way to the top. 1, the Mediterranean diet. 2, the DASH diet. And 3, a vegetarian diet. Think about it for a moment. All of these 3 have something very important in common. Can you guess what it is? They are all plant-based diets. I'll briefly explain each of these, starting with the Mediterranean diet. It's funny because when I mention this to patients, their eyes light up. They go, "You mean I can eat as much pizza and pasta I want on this diet?" Not quite. This pattern of eating recommends the daily consumption of whole grains, beans and legumes, nuts and seeds, fruits, vegetables, and olive oil. Poultry, meat, and eggs should be treated as garnishes as opposed to being the star of the plate. Fresh fruit is a typical daily dessert, not Oreos and ice cream. Then there's the DASH diet, which has nothing to do with Mrs. Dash brand products or seasonings. What it actually stands for is Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension. As the name suggests, this diet was originally for those with hypertension, also known as high blood pressure. But this diet is great even for those that are hoping to eat more wholesome foods. Researchers have discovered that a nice side effect of following the DASH diet is weight loss. So, what's this diet all about? Well, like the Mediterranean diet, this pattern of eating does not banish any food or nutrient, but encourages the consumption of most foods in moderation. It promotes the consumption of, guess what? Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and limiting the consumption of saturated and trans fat and simple sugars. Nuts, seeds, and beans are also recommended 4 to 5 times per week. Lastly, a vegetarian diet. There are many variations of a vegetarian diet. Personally, I have met a lot of vegetarians that are actually just carbitarians. These folks don't like eating animal flesh, but they don't like fruits and vegetables either. So they end up eating lots of potatoes, including French fries, tortillas, chips, crackers, cereals. You get the idea. This is not the style of eating I'm talking about when I say vegetarian. Instead, researchers studied those that consume, again, lots of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, nuts, beans, and seeds, and very few animal products. Now, like I mentioned before, the key is to find an eating pattern that suits you and your lifestyle. Researchers have indeed found that once folks make the switch and begin following one of these meal plans, they find they're not that difficult to follow. And that's because there's not as much emphasis on banishing foods or avoiding certain foods. You can eat whatever you want, just be sure that most of the time you're consuming the foods I just mentioned. It becomes a lifestyle, not a diet. So why don't diets like keto or paleo or South Beach or the zone or intermittent fasting top the most healthy list? It's because these are difficult for people to follow over a lifetime. People are pretty good about following these diets when they're part of a formal study and are being fed or getting paid for their time. But once the study is over, which usually happens within 6 months, folks stop following the diet and then regain their weight back. And because people have difficulty following these diets over the long term, we don't really know how these diets will affect their health when folks enter their twilight years. We can only guess. And for me, I feel uncomfortable recommending a diet to someone when I don't know what it may do to their body if they were to follow it for more than 6 months at a time. And so my bottom line is this, Shell. Based on your goals, based on what I've seen from the data, a plant-based diet would beat paleo and keto.
At Sierra, discover top workout gear at incredible prices, which might lead to another discovery. Your headphones haven't been connected this whole time. Awkward. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
This episode is brought to you by Greenlight. Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/Spotify. Greenlight.com/Spotify.
And I thank you again for the question. Now, if you want to send your questions in and get a copy of our Optimal Living Daily Workbook for doing so, you can email them to health@oldpodcast.com. That's health@oldpodcast.com. Or if you want your voice played on the show, come by oldpodcast.com/ask. Or you can do it the old-fashioned way and call in your question. The number is 161 I love OHD. That's 1-614-568-3643. Thank you so much for sending me your questions. Answering them is one of my favorite parts of this show. All right, that's another Q&A edition of Optimal Health Daily. Thank you so much for listening every day and all the way through. I hope you have a great start to your weekend, and I'll see you back here tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.